Okay, 3 in the morning and no sleep, cup of coffee, and may as well make a video. Welcome. Now I wanted to focus on cannonballs and cannons. And recently I did a little video on the Civil War, and we had a look at some of these types of photos, and also showcasing their abundance of cannonballs and cannons, just scattered around like they're junk. Is this industrial junk with another purpose left over from a reset? And I stumbled across a very interesting article that was shared with me in a comment. Really fascinating blog. And this person speculates that these cannons had another purpose as well. And, a little look at just this picture here and the times that these cannons were found, they just really don't make sense. I mean, everything about this image seems as if this has nothing to do with these people. Here we have this amazing cast metal cannon and, wood, little wood fencing and wooden buckets, and just a very primitive people. And in any case, the story behind this cannon is that this is a famed Ottoman super cannon, one of the most important guns in history. And so yes, 400 years old, there's no way of even moving something like this. Not by these people. No. These things probably lay where they have been found. And here we have another little look at it, and already now seeming much more like a machine part as opposed to a cannon. Very beautiful. And here's another little angle. The Great Turkish Bombard is a 15th century cannon, a supersized bombard, which saw action in 1807. It was designed and built in 1464 by Turkish military engineer Munir Ali. In 1464, they're building a weapon of this kind. Pulling it with a horse? Just to load the cannonball. What size projectile are we talking about here? So absolutely and clearly ridiculous. And this might be one of the more ridiculous and unbelievable tidbits of mainstream narration that we've been given. Cast in bronze. And the weight of this beauty is 37,000 pounds, or 16 metric tons, 17 feet, or 5.18 meters. The projectile, stone bowls of 2 feet in size, and each projectile weighing 2,000 pounds. 2,000 pounds. So again, how many men does it take to load a 2,000 pound cannonball? Just to put the cannonball into the cannon at 2,000 pounds. And mind you, 2,000 pounds is about the weight of a full-size cow. So, imagine, how many men are picking up a cow, but it's the size of a full iron bull, 2 feet in size. And again, just the idea that they could even bring this to the location that they need it, and even aim it, even to move this thing. This thing weighs 37,000 pounds. Who is going to build anything practical at all besides maybe a building at 37,000 pounds? And here they're telling us a full Mack truck is 27,000 pounds with a steel bed on it. And again, this is your weapon. You need to be pointing this in the right direction, hoping that you hit your target with your 2,000-pound projectile. And, again, if you miss, you have to load another 2,000-pound projectile. And not to mention how much gunpowder it's going to take to pack into this baby just to get it to go anywhere. And here is, in modern times, not so modern, but more modern than the 1400s, as they're telling us. And yes, look at what they're using to move these. Again, the weight of a cow. The weight of a cow. Of course you're going to need machinery like this. So really, clearly the remnants of some older machinery from an older people. And in many of my comments in the Civil War video, people said they look like cement mixers, and they do. Some kind of a mixer. And this blog is really great. He gets into gear mechanisms. And here in the back we can see what looks like gears. And again here, gears like some kind of teeth that another gear would bite onto to turn this mechanism. And gears have been found in Egypt and Rome. Here's some in an Egyptian museum in Cairo. And Egypt is some of the oldest as far as our narrative is concerned. So, we do see these Roman gears as well, really intricate. And then this begins to make sense now. This is a functional machine part as opposed to a cannon. And here he gives a little depiction on maybe how it was used to crush materials, perhaps to turn into these granite powders that we see surfaced on all different materials, and just even a cement mixer. And here's an advertisement in San Francisco at an early point in time, advertising such a machine. Will crush and grind in a single pass. So, again, a little hopper and pumping out a powder, perhaps. Really amazing. So, again, this is really just nailing it. This blog has done an amazing job, and clearly this is what these old cannons are. And here's what our modern ones look like. Again, the gear on the back and a spinning drum. Used in all kinds of applications today, and really just silly that they would feed us the cannon story. I think this one is pretty much put to rest as far as I'm concerned. This is just a joke. But now, okay, this makes sense, but now what are these balls? What are they really for? And as we can see, there's two different sizes here, and at 2,000 pounds, these balls here, none of these people are getting one of these balls in here, and not without a crane, as we saw up here. And so really interesting. I'm really questioning the nature of these balls here, especially these stone ones, almost resembling these Trovant stones that Sylvie shows in her videos. And could these stone balls actually be part of something else? Just something else. These seem all irregular and different sized. Some people have theorized that these could be the result of plasma storms, very rare plasma storms, the way that hail would form in a moisture-rich environment with the right conditions. Well, in a volcanic situation with a lot of dust in the atmosphere, could these be a hail? Could they actually be hail of a different nature, from a rare event? And could these photographs that we see with this complete devastation be the result of some of these hailstorms? Because this devastation just doesn't really add up. This just seems beyond a cannonball, when we see this ruin. And I don't know. They've gathered these up. But again, could these have come from something else? Could they have come from the sky? I don't know. When I see these stone ones, it makes a lot more sense. That does seem like a possibility. These story makers, these narrative writers, are very interesting, very comical, and they take one piece and try to fit another piece to it. And so now, yes, here we have the excuse for the ball, and now they've given us the excuse for the cannon. There we go, how convenient. And yet in reality, these could be separate stories altogether, in truth. And yet they've conveniently lumped them both into one story and actually done a pretty good job for all this time of just settling people's inquisitiveness into what all these things are. And yes, clearly not cannons. Pretty ridiculous. And here's a different look at some of these different cannons. Again, some seeming very natural. And lastly, I just wanted to glimpse at one of these little caves in China. And there's just thousands upon thousands of these caves in what appear to be mountains until you see a side view of many of them. Oftentimes they are on the west side, and just mind-blowing, to think that we could have dwellings in mountains all throughout the world, and to think that people, unknown to us, could still be inhabiting some of these. And I'd like to touch more on it, but for now, do have a blessed day, and thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.